somewhere because I'm going to put it on the engine stand. Now let's start off the back with one of my favorite videos. This is going to be a teardown video, inspection teardown video. This engine actually came from a junkyard. Customer bought it. It's a 3.6 Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, their V6 engine that you can find in all their modern cars. I normally, on the normal circumstances, I wouldn't have got this engine. I wouldn't have accepted it. This engine has some red flags, so to speak. And in this video, I'm gonna show you why. I didn't want to bore you with removing the wiring harness, so I took that off already. The first thing I'm gonna do, jumping right into it, is go ahead and start removing the upper intake manifold. So, it switched up on me. So the top one was 10s, the bottom was 13s. The actual intake manifold bolts that hold it down is 8 millimeters. Ooh, I got a stuck socket. Come on out. I'm gonna go grab a torque bit because these also has a little torque bit in on them. As you can see, it looks like a T25 or T20 because my big impact socket can't fit down in these holes. And I don't feel like finding a regular thin wall socket. So. All right, got my T20. That's a long torque bit socket. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys may hear me say sometimes, oh, I don't feel like doing it. I'm the type of mechanic that like to zone out when I'm working sometimes. It's sort of like my therapy, so to speak. Forgot about these brackets over here. So, 2 10s up top, followed by a 13 at the bottom. Yeah, guys, I love to zone out when I'm taking stuff apart or working on cars. Ooh, tight. Now what I'm doing here, I'm very softly grabbing it with the with the pliers and just rocking it back and forth to get that loose. Alright, set that to the side. Now with junkyard engines, they only really warranty, oh, this engine likes me, it caught me. With junkyard engines, they only warranty the heads and the block. Now if you guys wondering what this is, they normally found laying somewhere up in here, it's a noise dampening device. I like to call them squirrel nest homes. Squirrels and rodents get up in there and chew them up. Oh, that was already loose. Alright, next thing I'm gonna do is remove my coil packs and take a look at the spark plugs. Spark plugs can tell you a lot about an engine. Let's see what this one tells us. I can't wait till I get to the good stuff. Just show you why this engine is a red flag. Ooh, came out a little rough. Now, you see me taking this apart with an impact gun. It's okay to take stuff apart with this, but putting it back together, you need to torque everything down to their proper torque specs. And my spark plug socket don't want to grab the sockets today, but that's okay because I'm going to use the coil, stick it down in there like so. Come on. And I'm looking at them briefly while I'm taking them out because I want to know what each cylinder is doing. So I'm notating them as I'm taking them out. I'm just not taking them out and throwing them in my hand. Actually, briefly looking at them. If you was wondering. Okay. So these spark plugs, they look pretty decent. But what I'm looking for is excessive like carbon buildup. Like this one look a little funny. It's worn down. I don't know if you can see it on camera. And it has a little carbon buildup on it. So nothing out the ordinary yet. Let me move these out the way. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is remove my valve cover, and they're 8mm all the way across. Now, of course, guys, this is going to be a lot harder in the actual vehicle, so you're not going to be able to take it apart as fast. All right. Grab me a little flat blade screwdriver. And sometimes they have like little pry points, but I don't see it on this one. Got that. It's T30. I gotta remove sensor. That's why you just don't go really giving it your all, because things like this. Looking at that sensor, I don't think it was actually in the way. So I don't know why that one is keeping me down, but it should pop right up. Most important thing is right here, do not force anything. Double check. I think this was holding me up. Yeah. I haven't took down one of these in a while, so a little rusty. But this is a crankcase ventilation valve. It should just come up. Alright, so now that I have that off, I wanted to show you some of the red flags of this engine. First off, let me grab my light so you guys can see. Someone has been in here. The reason I know, because this is not factory. Factory would not do a terrible job of putting gasket glue everywhere like that. It's just tons of gasket glue. Put it on there and it runs off like that. It's very bad. You're not supposed to use that much gasket for it. And then, let me take the camera. You have that big hole in the engine oil pan. I thought that was pretty funny. That's why I took this. If you guys see something like that, just don't even take the engine, in my opinion, because something could have been going wrong with this engine and they could have wrecked it on purpose, or could have been an honest mistake and they wrecked the vehicle because they said it came from a wreck. Could have wrecked the vehicle and hopefully the engine shut off right in and there, or they could have left it running by mistake and could have ran it low on, all the oil drained out and the engine's still running with no oil. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just rotate the engine. It should be nice and easy. And the main thing I'm looking for here, as you can see, you have cam lobes right here. I'm going to, these are like little rocker roller thingies. Yeah, the rocker arms, roller rocker arms. And as you can see, this one is, that may be normal because these are hydraulic lifters, so they have to pump up by oil, but it shouldn't be that loose. So that could be a ticking noise right there, because that may never pump up because the seals in the hydraulic lifter is gone bad. So that's what causes these engines to tick. So this engine may be ticking. Okay, so if there are bent valves, what'll happen is these will basically fall out of place, because when the valves bend, this spring's supposed to pop the valve up in like a real tight seal position. When they bend, this will be kind of slightly down. That's why I'm having these up and kind of giving them a nice tug just to see the condition of them, make sure they don't have any bent valves. But, that's my madness behind all this. All right, finished checking all my lifters. I need to find the proper name for it. People, you know the proper name for these? Please write down in the comments below. I didn't have time to look it up. But there's some kind of roller lifter. I think they call them roller lifters. But anywho, no bit valves. I just got finished checking for all that. That's my way. Now, one other thing that do alarm me, if you want to come closer right here, I have metal. Anything with metallic-y, grayish like that, that's metal. Now, I do have a red flag. I do believe I have some failing
Alot,
hydraulic
got
lifters.
a customer.
Sorry about that, good people. I am running a shop, so I got a lot going on. Just had to take care of a customer. Got kids, they running around. Got my crew, they need my help sometimes. So sometimes I get pulled in different directions. As I was mentioning before, I do believe I found the story behind this engine, why it was taken apart, because a lot of the RTV that I see was done by a poor mechanic. This engine was taken down for some odd reason, and I found that some odd reason. These engines are known for the lifter tick. I've seen many of them that just come in ticking, and that's from these failed hydraulic lifters. Now, the mechanic probably went in and thought it was maybe timing chain related, and took the front cover off trying to fix that issue. All right, moving right along, I'm gonna go ahead and check the bottom. This engine I'm not gonna use, but I'm gonna continue on showing you guys what to look for when purchasing or inspecting a used engine to put in your vehicle. So I'm gonna flip it over now. Now, if you have an engine stand like this, be very careful, because it can kind of take you by surprise when rotating this. I'm gonna get a good grasp on it. And do it nice and slow. Oh, I got peed on it. Engine don't like me. Bam. Okay. That's my locking pin. All right. So, as you can see, the damage right here. This got a lot of cracked up stuff. Like the oil pump got damaged. I'm about to break it down and see. Ugh. I'm gonna have to reposition my engine stand, because this is the lower pan and this is the upper pan, and I have my engine stand attached to the lower pan, so I can't remove it. So I'm gonna fix that. I'll be right back. Got my engine stand fixed so I can get the upper oil pan off. My camera woman is a little late. I've already started removing the
my bad
oil pan bolts, but these things are glued on and they're kind of very strong from the factory, or the last person who worked on it may have used too much glue. So what I like to do is kind of give it a little hit on both sides. Be very careful because you don't want to bend your pan. So you can take a screwdriver that you can hit on, or a punch. Get in the groove somewhere and just follow it down. But be very careful. All right. Ew. That's probably metal pieces from this, or it could be bearing material, but it's a lot of little metallic pieces down in there. So another tip for an engine inspection: removing the oil pan is very important. Now on this one, it looks like you're gonna have a lot of 13s, and let me see, yeah, you have some hidden 13s right here. So you have to remove the first pan to get to the secondary pan to get to the first pan. So I'm gonna start blessing them out right now. Now basically doing all this just so I can show you guys how to look at the connecting rod bearings. Give you a couple of tricks on what to look for. Now another indication of this engine was in an accident, if you want to walk over here, the engine mount bracket is completely sheared off. That indicates this engine have taken a nice impact. My hidden ones, then you have some 10s that's down in here. Now you want to retrieve the ones that's down in the engine. As you can see, I kind of left those there, but I'm retrieving the ones that's down in there, which only appears to be one. Just double check real quick. Yep, all right, grab my 10. And the reason you want to get this one, just so it won't drop down in the engine. It's no fun fishing stuff out that drop down that deep. All right. And always have your magnet on hand, people. This tool can save your life. Now, same as before, but really being extra careful, because if this is something that you was going to be reusing, this is aluminum, it cracks. So the best way I know of getting this off is same as before. Just give it some right little taps. And I'm kind of tapping. I'll show you where I'm tapping at. This is the hardest part that I can find. Now in the vehicle it'll be a lot more harder, but on this they do give you little pry points. These are the little pry points they give you. So, and I'm not really banging on it really hard. I'm just slightly tapping it. All right. I should have banged it off real hard because it's already destroyed, but for demonstration purposes, I was slightly tapping on it. Ooh, how so I wanted to bang it off real hard. I just want to, I didn't do that today. I want to be realistic as possible, even though this engine is garbage, paperweight. All right, this is the oil pickup. Another good tip, when you remove the oil pan, always look at this little screen right here. It's like little small metallic pieces in there. Nothing too crazy, but still a red flag. I don't know if you guys know, I like destroying stuff sometimes. This here is the oil pump. It completely got destroyed in the accident. See, it's cracked right here. So at this point, good people, I'm just taking down stuff and not caring. And you see pieces dropping in the motor. Now, on this, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be timed or not. I'm just gonna kind of shove it out the way. I'm trying to get to the connecting rod bearings. And I can kind of work around this. Yeah, I can. Ooh, you're tight. And if you do take this off, make sure you guys torque this stuff back down. I don't have the torque specs for you today. I didn't look it up. But this is called, this pan that I'm taking off, it's called a, ooh, that one don't want to come off. Thought I snapped my socket one. It's called a, I think it's called a baffle or wall. My mind is slipping today. Sorry, good people. But I try to name my parts, and sometimes it don't come to me right away. But I promise you, I do know what it's called. Let me switch teams. Got all of them broke loose. All right. Booyah. Now, the reason it's so important to torque these down because they're part of the main bearing caps. The main caps are the crank caps. So this is the crank. This is the counterbalance on it. I don't have one out to show you, but this is a 4-bolt main cap. That's what they mean by 4-bolt main. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 bolts. So now, these are the connecting rod caps. So I'm gonna be twisting this over and looking at and feeling the play to see if there's any play. Now another good indication of you have bottom end noise is these caps, if the bearing is messed up in them, the cap will start discoloring. They start looking a little bluish and dark. But as of right now, they all bright colored like they're supposed to. So I'll start inspecting these. Now, if you really want to do an engine inspection, which I'm going to show you today, you can take each cap off to inspect the bearings. If you really want to know if your engine is knocking or not. Because sometimes, if you wiggle these, they'll be nice and tight. But when you take the cap off to look at the bearing, it'll be scored in some type of way. And you'll get a little engine slight tap noise from it. So it's this simple. You just pull it off. This is actually the bearing. So this is the face of the bearing right here. This is what you want. You want it to look nice and smooth like this. No pitting, no scratching. And when you put these on, they only go on one way. So I'm gonna show you that now. Make sure this is back up. All right, so of course I don't really care about this engine because I'm not gonna use it. But you wanna, when you do take them off, if you did touch them, you wanna wipe them down with a microfiber cloth and put some fresh oil back on them and then put them on. But you have a little lip right here, this little lip, and there's another little lip on that side. So it's gonna be opposite of each other. So it's gonna go in like this. Then you have a flat part. It goes on the flat part back here. Just simply, or put them back in here. This is what I like to do. I put them back in here like so. And since I'm not worried about this engine, I'm gonna go ahead and impact them down. Don't do that. It's supposed to be twerking them down. I'm trying to find a bad bearing. Hopefully it has one so I can show you, which I don't think this engine does. And it looks like I'm about to go fishing. Never start up a boat with a tool. What most people like to do, say, I'm gonna show you the improper way so you'll know. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna check the rest of them. If all of them look good, they have to wrap up the video. But if I find a bad one, hopefully I found a bad one. Or if I don't find a bad one, I'll show you a bad one. I'm pretty sure I got one around the shop somewhere hiding. I'll show you what a bad one looks like, and I'll wrap up the video from there. I don't want to bore you too much. This engine actually had all good connecting rod bearings. They was in great shape. The noise that I assume this engine has, well, I know it has because it has a collapse lifter. So this engine is going to be ticking if I put this engine in. But to get back on topic here, well, I am on topic. Some more tips to look for is even if they drain the oil out of these engines, you still can look at the oil condition. Your oil shouldn't be milky or any kind of way like that, or what else I can say? No milky oil. If the coolant is really hard to tell because you're not gonna really see the coolant. Sometimes it'll dump out a little bit, but that's not really gonna tell you much. I did want to show you one last thing, because you may not know how bad connecting rod bearings look. So I got some that I found around the shop that are in bad shape. I want to show you that. So as I was mentioning before, as you've seen before, I show you some good ones. Hopefully you remember what it looks like. So you see a little pitting and scarring right there. Well, pitting. Now this one is scored. Connecting rod bearings aren't supposed to look like this. This is indicating the problem. This is a straight up knocking issue right here. And some more scoring. It should be nice and smooth. You should never see nothing look like this. Or none of these. They all should look like the ones that I showed you previously. If this video helped you in any kind of way, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions pertaining to this video, if you want to see a particular video, I have cars coming here all the time. I'm pretty sure your particular issue may come rolling in and I can shoot a video about it. So please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Alex the Car Doctor out.